Okay, so this is the setup for the linear approximations worksheet. I've opened up GeoGebra and I've got gone into the basic algebra view. So first we're going to graph a multivariable function, which just means we're going to input. Your input bar might be here, it might be at the bottom. F of x plus y equals x minus y raised to the second power. And of course that's a multivariable function, so we'll need to open the multivariable view. Again, your view menu might be on the top. If it's not, then maybe it's over here. And we can go to View, and we're going to open the 3D graphics view. We're also going to open the graphics 2 view, because we're going to need that later. And depending on which version you're using, you might be able to rearrange these views into some kind of a nice square shape or something like that, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. We also need to put a point on our graph, and so the way we do that is we define the point capital P equals 2, 1. That gives us the x and y coordinates. And if we leave the z input as f of parentheses 2, 1, then that will guarantee that the point's going to lie on our graph. And you can see it does here. We can rotate around. And there's the point P sitting there on our graph. All right, now we'll graph the cross sections. So the y equals 1 cross section is given by g of x, which is a single variable function, equals f of x, 1. And the computer knows how to deal with that. Bam, and it draws it. We want this to be in the graphics view. Unfortunately, it's also appearing over here in the 3D graphics view, so we can right-click on this thing. You can right-click on it. If you can't right-click on it because you don't have a mouse, you can go over here in this little style bar over here, and there's an options menu here, this little gear that I'm pointing at. But otherwise, you can just right-click and pull up object properties. And over here in object properties, oops, that's not object properties. Let's try one more time. Object properties. You see basic, color, style, advanced. We want to go to advanced, and we want to check the location. We don't want this to be located in 3D graphics. We do want it to be located in graphics, and we want it to be in algebra. That's the menu on the left. So that's good. You can close that menu. And now this only appears in the graphics 1 window. Let's do the y cross section now. It's called h of t. We use t because GeoGebra does not like y as the input of a single variable function. And so for this one, x is going to be equal to 2, and y is going to be equal to t. It'll graph that. Now I don't want my x and y cross sections in the same view, so again I can right-click on this or go to the function on the side, hit Object Properties, and go over to the Advanced tab over here. And I can say that I don't want it to appear in graphics, I don't want it to appear in 3D graphics, but it can appear in graphics too, because that's where I'm going to have my my x equals 1 cross section, or excuse me, my x equals 2 cross section. All right. So now we've done our cross sections for our first function. Now we will do our second function, which I called p. So this is going to be p of x, y equals x to the 0.5 divided by y. And there it is in the 3D graphics. If you want, you can make this a different color so you can tell it apart. So, you pick your favorite color. I don't know. I feel like blue today. Close that menu. All right, and again, we're going to put in the cross sections. So the cross sections are going to be q of x equals p of x, 1. So again, y will be a constant 1 in this one. And just like last time, I'm going to need to kick this out of the 3D graphics menu, or the 3D graphics view, excuse me. So I right-click it, get Properties, go to Advanced, and deselect 3D graphics. Now I'm going to want the x equals 2 cross section, which I'm going to call r of t, and that equals p of 2, t. There we go. There it is. That's an interesting cross section, but again, it's in the wrong view. So doesn't belong in 3D graphics. It doesn't belong in graphics. It does belong in graphics too. We can close that. So now we have three nice views. We have a 3D view of the graphs. On the left here, we have the y equals 1 cross section. And so the slopes of this graph are determined by the x partial derivative. And we have the x equals 2 cross section. And the slopes of this are determined by the y partial derivatives. The last thing to do is save this so that when we come in to class, we can just change these functions and be ready to go. And so you need to go to the File menu, which might be up here in the upper left for you. It might be over here on the right. So go to File, go to Save. Here's the tricky part. By default, it wants to save this online somewhere, and it wants you to make an account. But I don't want to do that. So this little symbol here can be changed. This means save it online on their little website. This means save it on a folder on your device. And then you pick a name for this. So this could be linear approximations or whatever. Save. And then it's going to send you somewhere on your computer to save this. There you go. You can save it on whatever folder you want to. And you'll be ready to open it and get started when we get to class. All right, I hope that was helpful.